So, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show with myself, Scott Hartley, and my glorious co-host, Scouse Andy. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Yeah, not too bad at all. Getting there. Just another busy day. I've been on a training course the last 2 days, so little
That
bit
can't be
crap.
busy then. That's fucking sit off. That is. That's a sit off.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But yeah, it's
Busy.
all. It is and it isn't. I know what you mean. But yeah, it's all good, mate. It's all go. Obviously, getting into it, our sponsors, as always, we are sponsored. We are the Dunstable Town's Talk of the Town podcast sponsor for the season. You can go and watch them on Talk of the Town. They are all over the YouTube. You can find them and Talk of the Town FC. They do all non-league football, and they also talk about normal football as well. We're also graciously sponsored by Oddballs. You can go across to myoddballs.com. And we're also sponsored by Fusion Therapeutics. I have not got their read with me at the moment, unfortunately, which I will find when I eventually get there. But yeah, you can go across to find Fusion Therapeutics. Give me 2 seconds, Scouse, and I'll get their read up. It's always the way, isn't it, mate? I'm always ill prepared.
Rushing, man.
Rushing, always rushing, and that's part of the problem, mate. And it is being rushed. But it is what it is, mate. It is what it is. It's Thanksgiving as well. So
they're getting rushed right now, mate. Are
they actually getting smoked today? So yeah, Fusion Therapeutics. I apologise to them. You can find them at www.fusiontherapeutics.co.uk. They provide expert MSK assessments, treatments with a view to holistic care, dedicated to improving your well-being through tailored musculoskeletal health plans. The team offer specialist injection therapy and non-medical independent prescribing. So if you're in the Northwest, Manchester or the Cheshire area, give them a call on 01606 512 013, or you can book online and the team would be happy to advise you on further on this affordable treatment solution. There you go, mate. I eventually got it out, so sorry about that. But there you go. It is what it is. But yeah, man, it's been a busy week again in Commanders Lands. Happy Thanksgiving to all our American friends who are celebrating with their families, no doubt. So yeah, shout out to everybody who is celebrating. We've had a good bit of news. Happy Turkey Day, exactly. We've had a bit of news, mate, this week. And the first bit of news really is around the Commanders agreeing to uncensor and uncancel the Redskins logo. Now, whether we make anything out of this or not, I'm not sure, but I'll read you one of the articles that has come up. It basically says, managing partner of the Washington Commanders, Josh Harris, and the NFL Commanders ownership group have agreed to uncancel the Redskins' iconic Blackfoot Chief logo. A Facebook post by Republican Montana Senator Steve Daines, the congressman, wrote that the censorship of the Commanders logo was a classic case of woke gone wrong. I applaud the Commanders and the NFL for their commitment to never censor the logo again, and for working with the Walter Blackie Wetzel family to restore the logo to its place of prominence and honour to benefit the Indian country. He added, Native American artist who used Blackfoot Chief, Two Guns, White Calf is an inspiration for the NFL team, which it used for almost 50 years. In 2020, we removed the logo and the name, and it appears obviously that this could be something that we could potentially use later on down the line on throwback uniforms. That's kind of where people are going and talking about it. What are your thoughts, Scouse, on this?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like that we could get it back. I mean, let's face it, we're not going to get the name back, but
yeah, that's we've got to accept that that's totally gone now, Scouse, haven't we?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd love us to have it back. I love our owners to have the balls to do it, but being honest, you'd probably lose a lot of money if you did that, and probably piss the NFL off as well. So, so I think the best of both worlds. I think I mentioned this probably, last season or something like that when this was news at the time, and I said, I don't see a reason why they couldn't bring back the logo, because at the end of the day, at the moment, all we've got is a W, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? We've got our brand in here, but in general, all it is a yellow W. And I think that comes across a bit like a temporary kind of logo in my mind. So I think this was probably the plan for a while. Since probably the owner got back it actually took over. I think they probably thought maybe we can get the Redskins in, and then we can get rid of the W. And I think that might be the way. I think that might be the way. And now that you're seeing senators getting involved, passing bills, you're seeing actual legislation happening. It gives me more of an idea, like a positive thought that I might come back. But again, we can't guarantee it. But I mean, at the moment, it's I think that would appease a lot of the old school Redskins fans who obviously left the team because they stopped the name and they took our identity away, which is our logo and our name. But I think that would appease a lot of people having that logo back for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, it's one of them where we both know, and we've said it just then, that the name isn't ever going to come back. That's long gone now, and unfortunately, it's something we're going to have to accept, whether we like it or not. But we were chatting a little bit about this in our chat offline. We're saying, look, as long as the Chiefs are still around, there's always a thought that why wouldn't you use some sort of imagery, the same imagery that that we get for. That we've had for years and that we should be using. It's iconic. You said it many a time. When you walk down the street in that logo, everybody knows who it is. People stop you. Even in Britain, people stop you in the street and say, "Oh, Redskins." Do you know what I mean? That's the exact term, and that's what people go around and they look for and they see it. I loved that logo, no matter what. That was iconic. Every single NFL team, you look at their logos and you think, they're okay, or they're pretty basic. I hate the W and everything about it. I can't stand it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, our logo with the British flag behind it, it's great. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's a rip-off. We know that. But watching this W is just. It's not changed since we were the Washington football team, and then being the Commanders, it's the same. It's just meh. It's just meh, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And getting your kind of. That's what I'm looking for. You're trying to get that identity back, like I mentioned before, and it's hard. It takes years to get that. You know what I mean? To say, okay, I'm fully behind the W, I'm fully behind the name, fully behind this and that, and it does take time. Some people can just instantly switch. Other people can't. And it takes them a long time to change. People hate change. And I think there's still a lot of people out there that don't like. I see you mentioned you don't like the W, and there's a lot of people who don't like it. I mean, obviously, if I had the choice between the Redskins emblem and a W, it's a bit of a no-brainer for me. Do you know what I mean? So it's very, very simple for a lot of the older school fans of Redskins. It'll just give us that kind of, some of our pride and identity back. Do you know what I mean? So, that's what I want to see. Really, I don't want to feel like an expansion team.
Yeah. So Rod Morrison put a question into us. He said, "Could the wish for the logo be returned to the uniform become a reality, or but no change back to the Redskins name?" He said, "Maybe the Warriors or just Washington. What do you think? Do you think this would lead to a further name change further down the line, Scouse?"
I don't know really. I mean, the Commanders is here. I mean, it might even stay. I mean, would it go well with the Redskins emblem? Probably not. But interesting. It's an interesting one, that really. I mean, I wouldn't want us to keep messing with the name. I know you can change it. They might think of Warriors, like you mentioned, or they might even think of something else out the blue that might be more Indian heritage style. Like I think someone mentioned on Twitter, like Blackfeet. But again, that would be. But then that would be like still bringing up a colour and something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that would work. Like Redskin this obviously doesn't work. Blackfeet I don't think would work either, even if it was an Indian. So it's just and you can't have guns because that's one thing you can't have in the NFL.
You're not allowed that. Yeah,
you can't have 2 guns. So even if you wanted to really put down to that specific Indian chap, it's still a lot of the words that his name was is quite old school, if that makes sense. Which wouldn't be allowed nowadays in today's NFL. So, is it a potential that he could change it? Sure. But I think I think at the start they'll probably keep the emblem and then go from there before changing names.
Yeah, I think if we see it on one of these throwback uniforms, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, what I was saying to you guys before is I've noticed now that broadcasters are saying the name that you can see it even when they're going through old matchups. Like for example, last week when we played Dallas, which we'll get onto, it showed the old school Redskins Dallas rivalry. There's no issues with it at all. Whereas a couple of years back, it was a complete and utter ban. You never even saw it, mentioned it, no names, nothing.
Oh, they even took it off.
Exactly. Yeah. And now people are talking about the name. They're bringing the emblem back, which you can see. Broadcasters are talking about it. It's in NFL promotional material. So I think having it on a throwback uniform is something that we could see. I think it might just end up being the spear. When you had the spear helmet, something like that maybe. I'm not so sure they bring back the whole logo, but we'll wait and see.
I don't see a reason why they couldn't. The logo was never the issue. It was always the name. It wasn't the logo.
Always the name.
And obviously, and there's obviously the Woke Brigade. Then there was also, the Dan Snyder things that the only way he was ever going to go if if it was about money, and that's
it.
And that's it. So taking away the Redskins name and taking away the emblem and stuff like that from him, that was a kind of a big time kick in the nads. So we just thought, well, what's the point? They're not the Redskins anymore, so let's just sell it. And that's probably the main reason.
So Brian said here that for the logo to come back as our logo, the name would have to change to something honouring Native Americans. Yeah, I completely understand that, Brian.
Eventually, I think. I don't think you'd change it instantly. Like, I don't think it'd be a full rebrand of logo and name on the same day. I don't see it being like that. I mean, I'd be shocked if it did, but it could. You never know. But for me, it's kind of like you would know what they're looking for because, as you know, people hide. What's words? Remember that guy who kind of like took all the names of potential names and he wanted like rights or something like that for the names.
It was all about the marketing rights,
copywriting, and all the rest of it. Yeah, there was naughty stuff going on, and I think if we are looking at a certain name, I'm sure he would have tried to actually copyright it or trademark it now beforehand. So I don't think anything like that's happened, not that I know of anyway. So I can't see him changing the name anytime soon.
So, gone on to other news then that we've got in this week. So, the Commanders worked out 5 players on Tuesday, 3 cornerbacks and 2 running backs. Jerry Jacobs, who's a corner, Quantrez Knight, corner, Jason Mattia, corner, and then they worked out James Robinson, who's a running back, former Jacksonville Jaguar, and Boston Scott, running back, who is obviously at Philly and New York. Anyone on there that obviously you're looking at to think, well, they could probably do a job? I mean, probably the most well-known names of the 2 running backs, but Boston Scott for me, maybe. I'm not sure. If you think he's a better option than what you've got,
I think out of all of those, I would still probably go for kick the tires on Robinson. To be honest,
yeah, I think so too.
He's more of that back that we kind of need. We're kind of missing that kind of. He's not like an ultra bruiser, but he's more built that way than say Eckler is.
Boston Scott's quite slight as well, isn't he?
Boston Scott's slight. He's more of a passing kind of guy. So, third down back type thing. So for me, but also Boston Scott can return punts as well. So that can be quite useful. But in general, I think I'd be going down the route of Robinson if he's got anything left. The other guys I don't even know anything about them.
No, I don't know either.
But again, can it be as bad as Forbes? Probably not. So
who knows?
I'll take anyone at the moment with a corner.
We made some roster moves as well. So we signed Chris Rodriguez Jr. to the 53. We placed kicker Austin Siebert on the injured reserve list. We signed defensive tackle Villami Fehako Jr. to the practice squad, and we released a guard called Marquise Hayes from the practice squad. A little bit onto Fehako Jr. He was a 2023 4th round pick for the Cowboys. So obviously this coaching staff will know who he is. He was out of San Jose State, was his college, and he was one of the Mountain West defensive player of the year in 2022, and he's a three-time All-American Mountain West player. He is what is he as a DT? He is 6'4" and 267 pound. So he's a big old boy. But yeah, stats and practice wise, hasn't played much. Obviously, going into the
tackle, really, not really big for a D tackle.
Not for a tackle. No, you want to
you're pushing the one page, 280s, 300 pound guys. You know what I mean? You're looking at even bigger, some of them.
But it's only a practice squad move, so maybe we see him, maybe we don't. You know, it might be one of them game day call ups potentially that we see.
For me, out of all this, how pissed off would you be if you're Rodriguez? You're fucked around all the time, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
Signed,
practice squad.
It's hard.
Brought up, brought back down again, cut. I mean, he's been cut like 4 times or something ridiculous. It's like, come on, mate. Do you actually want me on your team or not? You know, I'll be getting. I know it's a job still, and he's still getting paid, but it's still that kind of thing of being. That really pissed me off. Like, mate, obviously you don't want me here, otherwise you can cut me 4 times.
I mean, he's on the active roster now, so there isn't much we can.
You can still cut him.
He can do. Of course you can. Cut him and straight back to the practice squad. Yeah, I know. It is a bit crazy.
I don't think he'd be allowed back on the practice squad, to be honest, because he's been cut so many times.
We'll have a look at and you can sign him at any time. He just got to go through waivers because obviously he's young, which would happen last time. Obviously, if you're over 4 years service, you don't have to go through the waiver wire, but he would still have to go through the waiver wire, which he did last time round. We'll get onto it, mate. We've deliberated far long enough, and we'll review this game. Week 12 versus the Cowboys. 34-26 loss to Dallas. That's a padded 34, I should add. I'll go through the stats before we get into it. Cooper Rush, 24 of 32, 247 yards, 2 TDs. He took 1 sack, 6 pressures. Daniels was 25 of 38, 275, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. Running-wise, Rico Dowdle was their highest rusher with 86 yards, averaging 4.5 a carry. Then it was Zeke with 3 carries for 6 yards. So apart from Rico Dowdle, there was nothing on their running side. Washington rushing-wise, Jaden Daniels was the highest rusher for us with 74 yards and 1 TD, averaging 10.6 a carry. Then it was Jeremy McNichols, 22 yards. Austin Eckler also got 22 yards. Brian Robinson got 13 yards. In the receiving stats-wise, it was CD Lamb, 10 receptions for 67. Then it was Luke Schoonmaker getting his first TD for Dallas. 3 receptions for 55, 1 TD. Jalen Tolbert also got a TD for them receiving-wise. And then receiving-wise for us, Terry McLaurin got 102 yards off 5 receptions, averaging 20.4, 1 TD. And then it was Noah Brown, 6 for 71. And then Zach Ertz was 6 for 38 with a touchdown as well. Fumbles-wise, Rico Dowdle had a fumble, lost a fumble. And then Cooper Rush had a fumble, which was recovered. Cooper Beebe had a fumble, which was recovered. And then on our side, John Bates had a fumble that was lost. Austin Eckler had a fumble that was recovered by Terry McLaurin. And that is it. Then on the final bit that I want to talk to you about is on the defensive side of the ball. The top tackler on the day for us was Bobby Wagner with 8 tackles, 5 solos. Sacks wise, Daron Payne was the only one with a sack, but that was when Cooper Rush was giving himself up. Chauncey Golston and Israel Makumu were the ones with the interceptions. And then kick returns wise, Kavonte Turpin got 179 yards. 1 long 99-yarder for a touchdown. So, we'll get into it, Scouse, mate. What were your thoughts, obviously, on the Dallas game? Have you subsided yourself I don't know, mate.
I mean, it is sometimes fortunate that we do our pod kind of like
I
4
agree.
days later, you know,
Yep,
because
I agree.
if you got me on say Monday or Tuesday, I'd be absolutely blowing my top. You know, it takes me a while to settle down when we've actually played so poorly against the team that we should have beat, and we should have beat this team easy. Like it shouldn't
Yep.
even have been close. I mean, we let these guys hang in there at the early start of the game. They got some confidence up. We made Cooper Rush look like fucking prime Manning, and then we just didn't do shit on the offensive. Just did nothing until the fourth quarter, and that's not good enough, man. That is not good enough. I don't care about if it was a play call was the fault, or was it Jaden's fault, or was it the O-line being banged up's fault. All of them together just didn't produce. It's just not good enough, man, at all. We played a half a team Dallas team. You know, that didn't have Diggs playing, didn't have all these other dudes, didn't have loads of players missing, Dak as well, and we still made them look a better team than what we are. And we were a 7-4 team at that point, and they were 3-7, something like that. Lost 5 straight.
Yeah, 5 straight.
And we're at home. Like, come on, bro. I mean, it needs. It's just a very, very painful game. And I'm pissed off, but then also I'm just deflated by it. It's more of a deflated one because at least in previous games, you could say, the ones that we lost, that is, you could say, well, okay, there was some good bits, but then we were taking on teams that are technically better than us. You know, this is the first time this season that we thought this team should not be even hanging with us. Never mind winning against us. And they fucking took the piss and won at the end. You know, I just think, you know, I think there's so many issues with this one. It's unreal, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. It's 55 minutes of dross, 5 minutes of absolute what the hell just happened. Brian on here said he had root canal on Friday. Turns out that was the highlight of his weekend. Enough said.
Exactly, man.
Yep.
Exactly. That Sunday's game actually feels like a root canal. That's what it feels like, man.
I mean, it was just. You knew, weirdly enough, we said trap game. Yeah, I don't think so. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, you were like, we went through it all. And all this.
Yeah, we went through it all, and it was like, and then you knew kind of.
I said to say it'd be closer, but
you did. You said 10 points. You had a 10-point win, but weirdly enough, we knew kind of midway through the first quarter that something's gone wrong here. You know what I mean? Straight away. I don't know, like you said before, when we've been on post games and all that sort of stuff with the Bleeding Burgundy guys, and we've reviewed it there, and you've reviewed it on the bunker. I don't know what the actual outcome was. Was it play calling? Was it Jaden? Was it O-line trouble? Was it drops again? I mean, there's lots and lots of mistakes on offense. Just loads of mistakes.
Good teams don't have 4 or 5 potential problems.
No.
Do you know what I mean? During a match, you don't have maybe 1 or 2 might arise, but never 4 or 5 like ours. You know, and this is I think this one was the real wake up call. I think for fans, I really do, because we were all on the.
All on the hype train, weren't we? Yeah, definitely.
And you try not to, but you can't help yourself because you really want to do well and win games. And when we're winning games, you're thinking, oh yeah, this is a breeze. We're putting 30 points up on everybody, and then all of a sudden, just game over. We haven't been able to do that for ages now. So, it's
I don't know what to say. It's funny. It's funny because the last 3 games we've had the same sort of outcomes. Really, defense has played really well, pretty much for 3 quarters or 3.5 quarters. And as you said before, it gets tired in that 4th quarter because the offense can't stay on the field. And then it's because the defense is tired. Teams are just taking it away from us in that final quarter of the game. But you've got no excuses on this game. As you said before, you could argue the toss and say Philly are beating everybody and saying, you know what, they're a better team than we are. We mentioned it before. They've been building for 4 years. We've been building for 5 months. You know what I mean? It's one of them. Where Pittsburgh, are they actually a good team? Probably. You know, they're probably a playoff team under Tomlin. They haven't had a losing record, so you've got to take them quite serious as well, and a very good defense there. This team we played against the Cowboys, no. There's no excuses. Division rival, all your captains are ex-Cowboys, half your coaching staff's ex-Cowboys. You know how they play, you know what they're going to come in and do. You should know their reads, you should know their system. They shit the bed, Scouse, straight off. I actually genuinely think that, there's no excuses there. There's been excuses from the coaching staff as well, from Dan Quinn. I mean, he needs to get a bit here as well. They all do. We haven't had the practice, we haven't had the time. You had 10 days to prepare for this game. 10 days. Whether you like it or not, and it was a mini-bye, you had 10 days to prepare for this game, and you shit the bed. I was so annoyed with it for days, probably till... I didn't really calm down from this game till probably Tuesday, where I thought... Yeah, okay. I'm kind of there now. It's Titans. Let's get on with it. Let's look to the next one. But yeah, man, the Turpin touchdown. I mean,
that's
a spin move, and you're thinking to yourself, "Hang on a minute, you've just almost fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line. You've had to go back and correct it, collect the ball. You span out the way, and it's almost as if the special teams just stopped." And I said, "What are you doing?" I thought to myself there, we're going to pin these down in around 10 yards. We're going to be all right here. Nope. And then you finally do a miracle. You get yourself back into it. Terry's down this. I checked out at that point. I've literally decided to join the post-game mashup, and I thought I'll stick the link on. So I've put my phone on the link, and I can hear Jesse in his car driving home, and I can hear Bram Weinstein calling the Terry play. I was like, oh my God, I've got to get off here, go back and watch it. Watch Terry score, and was like, right, okay, this is it now. And then Seibert misses that kick. Oh my God. I mean, let's get into it. Austin Seibert, what's the situation there? I mean, Dan Quinn's saying he's on IR for a groin injury. His ankle didn't look very good on that picture of the kick. Was it a really bad snap? And the hold looked good.
Yeah,
I'd say
it's all timing, isn't it? It's all timing with that. If you even a millisecond off, you can put your kicker off, and that's exactly what happened in that last one. Plus the pressure got to him. He bottled it basically. Yeah. It's a tough one because up until that game, Seabit was money. He really was. Yeah. He missed like 2 field goals all season.
But it didn't cost us. We weren't bothered about it when they were missing. That's the thing.
There
were times where it
wasn't. When it was winning 50 yards, it's like a mental thing in his head. It's 50 yards, and he kind of shanks it. Even though he did make a 50-yarder actually in that game. Mm. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things going on with the Seabit problem. I mean, think about it this way. I'm sure you've seen it all on Twitter anyway, this kind of thought process, but he's out injured.
Mm-hmm.
New kicker comes in off the street, Zane Gonzalez, not kicked in years. Been perfect on every single one. Field goal and extra points in 2 games straight. And you're thinking, shit, my job's on the line here. And what are you going to do? You're going to say, you know what? I'm not 100%. I'll just stay off another week or 2.
No,
because if Zane plays really well in the next 2 games, you're probably going to get cut anyway because that guy's playing well, and now he's the starting kicker. So from his point of view, don't forget this guy's bounced around teams before us.
Yeah, yes.
So it's kind of like
he's been with. I think he was with the Lions, and he was also with New York kicking in.
He
was kicking in at the Jets in pre-season against us, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he said that, but he was never going to be number 1 there because Greg Zuerlein's there. So
exactly, Greg the Leg.
Greg the Leg. So he's always been on the outside looking in. So this is the first time where he's probably really felt like, hey, I'm the man here. And then all of a sudden this guy comes in because you're hurt and he's kicking so well. You're thinking, oh shit, I've got to come back, man. I've got to make sure this stays my job. Comes back too early, re-injures himself. I say he probably did his ankle as well on one of the kicks. But the problem is, there's one thing playing, and this is the fine line with NFL players. There's a fine line of playing hurt and helping your team, or costing your team, and that's the problem you get because. We don't say a lot about kickers, really, do we? We say more about your quarterback who's playing through the injuries and you want him to play. But the thing is, if he can't do the job properly, he shouldn't be playing, even if he's playing hurt or not. Same thing with the O-line. You really should. If you're banged up that badly that you can't perform at, say, 85% of what you normally would, you shouldn't be playing. And this is the problem. You don't do that. And the NFL is all like, I'm hard, I'm really strong. I'm a man's man. I'm going to play through the pain because I won't leave my boys hanging. Okay, great attitude. Don't get me wrong. But if you can't produce at the level needed on the field on Sunday, you shouldn't be playing. End of story, no matter who you are.
Couldn't agree more with you. I mean, I think you're absolutely right and spot on with what's happened with Austin C. But I mean, I was the one calling for us to sign him, and when we did, it was a great move. You couldn't say, well,
it's our record. It's our game record in week 2 when we were there.
Exactly.
And he's been solid all season until obviously this week.
And it's a real shame for him. But I mean, Zane Gonzalez is coming back. To be our kicker, that's fine. He's had 2 games where he's not missed anything. You're right in what you've said before on the show, and I remember you talking about this before. You're saying the two people that are going to score you points is your quarterback and your kicker. You get them right, then you're going to be okay.
You got a chance.
It is the only position that, although no one gives 2 shits about them, kickers really, it's like they're 10 a penny. Anyone can kick a ball. They're the ones who are putting the points up.
Yeah. End of the day,
in the clutch moments, that's the people you need. You need a cool, calm head. And I mean, look at some kickers out there, like the Tuckers. Yeah, he's had a poor season so far, Justin Tucker, as you well know, with your fantasy team. But he's, I'm not, and that wasn't me trying to dig at you.
Love that is. That's the kind of bad juju that I have.
Yeah, maybe. But he's being paid a fortune because they know they've got a guy who can do what they need to do in the clutch moments. And you think, well, yeah, kickers are people too, but that's enough kicker talk for now anyway, Scouts. Other than that, though, mate, anything else you want to bring up on the Dallas game? Or are we just going to gloss over and move on?
You could be here for days talking about how bad we were. I mean,
oh, yeah, I know.
I think Allegretti got something like a PFF rating of 8 or something like that, something stupid. That's how bad he was. It was like, oh, mate. Coleman banged up, dislocated his finger again, didn't he? Came back in after.
Yeah, went out.
He had a bad game. Wiley got a concussion. Headbutt
from the left. Yeah, I know. Well, that's something we need to probably bring up, actually, from looking at this, is the injuries that we've got from this game. I mean, Eckler and Wiley are absolutely ruled out. Them 2 are totally ruled out. Eckler was an awful one.
At the end, I mean,
yeah, that was terrible.
Trying to make a play, a full speed, and just got ended. I mean, it was, it's pretty grim to be fair. That just summed up the rest of our game. That was like, brilliant.
Cheers for that, yeah. And who else went out? Wiley went out. Obviously, concussion protocol for him. They're both out. Do we need to have a talk about Marshawn Lattimore?
He was on the field today, wasn't he?
He was playing today, but I'm not sure whether he does play this game or not.
As you say, he might get a few snaps, maybe, but he won't play the full game. I can't see it.
We'll see. I can't see it either, to be honest, but it's...
he doesn't need to. I know we need to win this game. I know this is now a must-win game.
I agree with you. I agree with you, because when you think about where we are... The Dallas game, for me, losing that game sealed the division. I think that's gone now. Yeah, I really do think that's gone.
You need some serious help now, and Eagles shut the bed like last year. There's no way they're going to do that, though.
And I don't think they are with Saquon Barkley.
Not different animal this year, haven't they? Saquon there. I mean, it's just different there now.
So that's kind of gone. Yeah. Well, we'll preview the Titans game then. So they are 3-8, third in the AFC South. They've been on a bit of a skid most of the season. Will Levis has been very hit and miss as their quarterback, but they came off a really good win at the weekend against the Texans. Even I'll look at their standouts for you. So Will Levis has got 1,447 yards. Tony Pollard has got a bang on 800 yards. Receiving 637 for Calvin Ridley. Tackles wise, it's Kenneth Murray Jr., the linebacker, with 76, and Amani Hooker has 3 interceptions for the Titans. I mean, as you said, it's a must-win game now. What are your thoughts on the Titans then going into this game? Are you worried about it more than you were, or are you still thinking, hey, we can do something this game?
Well, look, we can still win this game. They are a team that, as you say, they hit and miss. The defense is good. It's not.
Defense is very good, yeah.
It's better than a 3-8 team, like you mentioned. Their record is. Will Levis kills them. That's the problem because say sometimes he plays brilliant, and the next minute he throws 3 picks. That's the problem with him. He's so up and down. We need to get him on the bad day, and we need to make sure we catch the damn ball when it comes our way. Because Levis will give us the ball. He will take chances, and we need to be able to catch that ball, especially in on the back end of our defense there. But I say, is it winnable? Yeah, sure, definitely winnable. To be fair, you think if you just go off records, you expect to win, don't you? 7-5 versus 3-8. You expect to win, but it's obviously going to be closer. We don't blow teams out. We just don't do it regularly. Offense says all beat up. Offensive line's battered. Jaden might be okay now, might not be. I think personally, but we did mention before, I think Kingsbury tried to keep him, like holding him back, really, because when he let him actually go in the fourth quarter, that's when he started putting all these points. So there's definitely an element to that. I know he doesn't want to get him hurt. I get it. Just come back from an injury, or now he might just be 100% now, and I get it. But it's kind of like, mate, if you take away his legs, you don't let him run, for example, or you don't let him take the chance on what he wants to do. It's kind of, you're defeating the purpose. You know what I mean? You're defeating the purpose. So, but in this game, let him go. Let him do what he wants to do. Let him play free. That's what I want. That's what I want Kingsbury to do. We gotta do what we normally do as well, run the ball, but it's going to be more difficult because we're going to have 2 starters out. I think B-Rob's not going to play. I think he's already.
I don't think he is either.
I think
he's not. He's not ruled out yet.
I mean, the way he twisted up his ankle, mate. I think there's no way he's playing this week. I mean, no, he came back and tried to play through it, but there's no. It'd be stupid for him to try and play through this one. So he's out. Well, I'm saying he's out. Eckler's out. I mean, you've got Rodriguez. Okay, he did a good job. McNichols. Okay, but these guys are like.
They're not Brian Robinson or Eckler.
Exactly. They're not going to.
And are we going to have to? Are we going to have to call up Wiley? Are we going to have to call up Wiley from the practice squad potentially as the final running back? Are we going to sign someone?
Or one of the guys?
Because you're going to need to go with 3, aren't you? That's the thing. I would have thought you'd always go with 3 running backs. You're not just going to go into a game with 2. So the 2 that we've got that are fit are.
Rodriguez
and McNichol. And then you're going to have to probably take Wiley up from the practice squad to look at that. I mean, looking at this Tennessee Titans team, I mean, Tony Pollard, he's great rushing. I mean, he got 119 yards last week on 24 carries, averaging 5 a go with 1 touchdown. I mean, the receivers, when you actually name the receivers here, you think to yourself, actually, that's not too bad. I mean, Calvin Ridley, decent enough. Chigga Okonkwo's decent. Tyler Boyd's decent. Nick Westbrook-Akine, he's been coming on these last few games.
He's a deep threat, isn't he? He's a deep threat.
So I mean, I'm not saying that that they're going to be any better than we are. But when I know the NFL isn't just names, but when you read them names like Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, you think to yourself, these are decent players. We've got to find Terry McLaurin more this game, man. We have to find him more. But one good thing and one maybe moving around. One shining light that we have got here that we could sneak through is we're going to need this defensive line to come up big, because Will Levis took 8 sacks in the first half last week. 8, and then looking at the rest of the game, he didn't take a single sack in the second half. So I don't know what they did to change it up, but this O-line is not the best. I think when you look at PFF, again, if you're using PFF's grading, it's the 31st best offensive line in the NFL. So it's right at the bottom. So we need to get at Will Levis desperately. And and keep him on the hop, and we can win this game. Standout player for you then that who needs to show up, Scouts, in this game? Who you picking? Do you want to pick one for offense and one for defense, or do you just want to pick one overall?
Yeah, I can do.
It's up to you, mate. Up to you.
I mean, we need more than one standout player on both sides.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know what you mean.
But in general, I mean, you always got to look for the main boys. You got to look for your Jaden Danielses. You got to look at your Terriers, on the offense, and then because they're going to take more of the slack of the run, because the run game's going to be a lot worse than it has been. Let's be honest. And then on defense, we got to get to Levis, like you mentioned. We got to get to Levis. Mm-hmm. This offensive line gives you chances. So let's go. So we've got to rush him. I mean, we've got to put the pressure on him. So I'm looking for my pass rushers to do the business. So I'm looking for Louisville. I'm looking for Fowler Jr. I'm looking for Armstrong. They're the guys I'm looking for, really. No point taking all your guys there, but
no, not at all.
They're the guys that really got to step up for me.
Yeah, the guys that got to step up for me on offense wise, and I need to see Cornelius Lucas have a great game, because undoubtedly he's going to be your swing tackle, but starting out right tackle this game, because we're injured. You know, the next thing down from there is Trent Scott. You know,
being honest, I'm probably better than Trent Scott.
I don't know, mate. we say that, but to actually, isn't it funny? We're splitting hairs and we're sitting here saying, you know what, this player's shit. And we're gobbing off them. It's a fan podcast. I get that. But when you're the elite players and you're the top of your tree, and all these players are playing college football, and all these players are going to the NFL or trying to get drafted, then you make a roster. You've got to be fairly decent to make a roster, mate. But the drop-off between being elite and then being very good and then being, okay, you're a serviceable backup is huge in the game. But we're splitting hairs. But I get where you're going. I get where you're going. Trent, no, he's not.
There you go. He's in the squad, then, should he?
I know exactly what you're saying. So for me, I need to see. It is lack of depth. I need to see a big game from Trent Scott. I need to see a big game again from Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. Obvious is I'll take your two. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm looking at Benjamin St. Juste. Just stop one penalty, please, dear God. Have a game where you don't get caught over the top and we're not sitting there going, oh, that's a PI, where's 25? There you go, they're going to throw the ball towards 25. Because I guarantee you that the Titans will have done their homework, they'll look at this and say, whenever we need a play, that's exactly where we're throwing it. Mike Davis splitting time and playing a lot of time last weekend as well.
More snaps.
He played more snaps than St. Juste. He did indeed. Samra still obviously had another. He actually had a really good game. I've got to give him his due. He had a good game. And then the other player I want to see have a big game is Daron Payne, because for me it seems that we signed that guy to the bag, gave him a big contract, and he's missing. He has done nothing since he signed that deal. And to me, I'm looking at that going, hang on a minute. How much is your contract again that we're paying you? Because for me, you're not filling that contract out at the moment, unfortunately. We're not seeing the Daron Payne that was getting 10+ sacks, or a season when he was trying to get his deal. Maybe we need to do that. Maybe more players need to get a deal. And it's like, you know what, if you're playing to get a deal, you need to get out there and show us what you're made of. But he has not stepped up since Jonathan Allen's injury. That is a certainty. He hasn't. He's been missing. So we need to see you do more on that field.
It's hard, isn't it? Because you don't forget now he's playing next to a rookie who's still learning the game.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I understand that. So his time.
It is difficult because you want him to be like the real deal. You want Daron Payne to be tearing it up. As you say, 10+ sacks a season, and that's what you kind of expect from someone with the kind of money that you've paid him. But it's just unfortunate, really, because he's not at that level. I don't know if that's because he's got poor edges as well, as in setting the edge. Because most of our DNs, they're actually true pass rushers, aren't they? Let's face it. I mean, Fowler Jr. is a pass rusher. He's not really an edge. They set the edge guy. So I think it's and plus the double team they're on quite a lot as well. So. It's hard, man.
Okay,
It's
well,
big
it is difficult.
One.
I know, I get that. We'll do the injury report then, mate. Obviously, halfway through this game, or halfway through our pod, even probably around about now, we normally get the Thursday's injury report come out, but I'll give you Wednesday. So Austin Eckler, running back, concussion protocol, did not practice. Dan Quinn has actually said in his press conference that yesterday that he is ruled out for the game. Zach Ertz, tight end, was on a rest, which is normal. Normally gets like a veteran rest day on a Wednesday, so he did not practice. Cleveland Farrell, knee, stroke rest, did not practice. Andrew Wiley, concussion protocol, did not practice. He has also been ruled out. Marshawn Lattimore is on here as a hamstring, limited practice. But apparently he's been practicing today. Brian Robinson, ankle, limited. Nick Algretti, ankle, full participant. Dante Fowler Jr., hip, full participant. Noah I, thumb, full participant. And Jordan McGee, elbow, full participant. So that's where we are on our side of the ball. On the Tennessee Titans, we have Luke Gifford, linebacker, hamstring, didn't practice. Arden Key, outside linebacker, back, didn't practice. Harold Landry, outside linebacker, was on rest. Roger McCreary, cornerback, knee, did not practice. Calvin Ridley, ankle, did not practice. Jeffrey Simmons, DT, was on a rest day. Leroy Watson, tackle, back, did not practice. And then you've got a few limited participants there as well. And Amani Hooker had an illness. So that is where we are with the injury report, Scouse. Anything you can garner from that injury report apart from the two that we've just talked about being out?
Not really. No, I mean, I think there's going to be... Most of those guys are going to be available from our side of things. I just don't think... I think Lattimore might suit up, but I don't think he'll play many snaps.
No, I don't think he will either. I mean, Brian's put a question here saying Witt did say Duron is doing a lot of the dirty work and said he could do more. Yeah, I understand that, Brian. I watched Witt's press conference earlier. That's one man who he seems to talk an amazing game, and I'd love him to be my coach and get all fired up by it, but I don't even know if these players are responding to him. I mean, the defense does look like it's going good at the minute, but it just needs to do a little bit more for me, and maybe he's asking for that little bit more.
For me, it's hard. It's hard.
It's all about the offense, isn't it?
Yeah, at this moment, the defense is actually doing a much better job than the offenses. So I'm okay with how the defense is playing at the moment. Being honest with you, of course, with like a few more sacks. Obviously, we only had one sack that I say Cooper Rush gave himself up for. That's
just to keep the clock going. Yeah, that was what it was. Yeah.
So that's not good enough, all right? But in general, I mean, I thought we played quite well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fourth quarter came on with some ridiculous things happening. Both on special teams, we give up 14 points on special teams. The defense itself wasn't actually that bad. Yes, they were definitely tiring again, fourth quarter, but that's understandable when you don't sustain drives on offense. And we weren't doing that. Even when we scored points, it was, besides the first touchdown I think we got in the third quarter, that was natural drive. So actually give our defense a little bit of rest. But in the fourth, when we threw to Terry, it was a one-play, 87-yard run. That's not even when you score a touchdown there, the defense still not getting any rest.
True.
See what I mean? Because there wasn't a drive. It was just literally
it's no sustained drive. It's one long pop. I mean, it's another miracle. It's another miracle, Scouts. That's two miracle plays this year we've had, and I just think, wow, okay. And we just couldn't get it done. It's just.
And why was Terry first? Terry, like when you watch that game, that back to that Dallas game, Jaden, you can see his tendency is to roll out to the right, and throw the ball on the right-hand side of the field.
Yes.
Okay. If that's what he likes to do, put your best receiver over there. It doesn't make fucking sense to go, oh yeah, I'll just keep Noah Brown out there just because Terry likes to be on the left. No, fuck that. Get him over to the right side where he's gonna get more ball.
Or a bit of motion to move people around.
Terry will catch 9 out of 10. These other guys, Noah Brown, I think he got 3. Was it 2 or 3? Right in his chest. Right in his face. and he can't catch it.
The one that hit him in the face, I was like, okay, mate. It's gone through your hands and hit you square in the helmet. I mean...
And for me, that is Kingsbury's fault. I know you might go, oh, it's all about the play calling. It's about putting the right players in the right position to succeed, right? Isn't that what DQ harps on about all the time? And Joe Witt as well. But why the hell's Terry not on the right-hand side of the field then? If you know that Jaden's comfort blanket is to throw it to the right-hand side or to the middle or to the right-hand side, get Terry there. More regularly, more than just the 1 or 2 plays. Get him there, start him out there, see how it goes. Let's see if their cornerback 1 follows him or not.
True, because that will be what will happen.
Well, you like to think so, but not every corner likes to move away from their side. Not every CB1 likes to do that. So moving Terry over, well, let's see what how are they going to match that? Yeah, how's that going to match? Are you going to leave Terry up 1-on-1 against a CB2? Okay, I like that matchup every day of the week. So
Jesse says the Bears are about to win apparently, but I'm gonna have to.
They're getting smoked. What we got on here?
He said that 20:32, so 32 minutes past the hour. He said the Bears are making a comeback. Then at 55, he's gone. The Bears are about to win. Wow. Okay. No. Anyway, Scouse is frantically looking at his phone right now to see the score. But
23-20 Detroit at the moment.
Wow. Okay. We'll get into our fan questions then quickly, and we'll wrap it up. The first fan question that we've got is from Tim Towner. He says, AP and DQ insist we're not in a rebuild, rather that we're about building through the draft and a retool, which of course gives us these draft picks: a first rounder, a second rounder, a third from the Dolphins, a fifth from the Saints, a sixth, a seventh from the Falcons, and a seventh from the Eagles. What can we do to get more picks? Will we lose any free agents that might bring a comp pick? And are there any players you would trade for a pick? So, would you trade anyone from the current team for picks? And is there anyone that we'd lose for a comp pick? I don't think there is anyone we'd lose for a comp pick because of contract statuses. I don't think there's anyone out there that we would lose, because I think it's got to be within the top third of the salaries. If they go and sign for another team and take a salary that's within the top third at their position, you don't get a comp pick.
True. Yeah. Is there any players? I think most of the team's still available, I think.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Allen maybe is one that I'd look to potentially.
I'm looking at him. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Forbes. I'm looking at, if you can even get 10p for Wyoming. 7th. I'd send that. I'd send them across. So yeah. I mean, anything. All our fringe guys, basically. John Allen's the only one that isn't a fringe that I would do, but everyone's available in my book.
Especially with the way especially the way that these contracts have worked out this year with a lot of players on 1-year deals. It's difficult, man. The roster machination, how we went over, it was like 67% of the roster was changed. Yeah, it's a huge amount of turnover. And let's be honest, we're going to turn over a fair bit again in the close season. I think some will stay, some won't stay, but it's going to be difficult to do that. Do we want more picks? I'm not so sure. I think some of them picks might go to other players of other teams. Look, if there's a left tackle out there that wants to move on, and you need to give them a 7th or a 6th, and they're better than what we've got. Because I'll be perfectly honest with you, I think Coleman could be the answer, but right now I'm not so sure. I think we need to dip into the right tackle market as well in the off season. Who's a free agent, who's not? I haven't looked that hard because I think it's great. We don't have depth, and I think you're right there. And I think going into the draft and going, we can get a right tackle, or we can get someone. When you're playing a rookie, it's very, very difficult to do. What we're needing, if we're in this window and we're saying that we're going to be competitive, the window needs to start from next off season. So we need to be looking at it and saying to ourselves, we need veteran help on this offensive line. That's serviceable, that knows it can, that we can play.
We did last year, didn't we?
Biadish, Algretti, and that's a good line.
And he still had
Really?
Wild, and he still had Cosme, and these guys are vets. You know, the only true rookie is obviously Coleman.
Coleman,
And he's got talent, and I think he might be the real deal. But
yeah, I do too, but
every
it's going
left
to take
tackle,
time.
even Trent Williams struggled in his first year. All right?
He did.
You know, the top left tackles, everyone struggled first season because it's just a massive increase in level.
Christ, Rayshawn Slater struggled in his first year. Look at him now, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As long as you get well coached and you learn from the mistakes, and you know, the more they play, the more they get used to that real game speed against real quality rushes. And if he's got the talent that you think he's got, that second season you're going to see a really big increase in playing quality as well. So, you know, I'm hopeful. I'm not saying he's definitely guaranteed left tackle for the next 5 years, 10 years. We don't know yet, but from what we've seen so far, yes, he's got potential that he could be that guy. So let's just hope next season he's big. But again, I would personally be looking for a vet as well. Now, maybe you don't want to stunt the guy's growth going next season, but you also want a guy who can take over that Lucas role.
Yeah,
because
absolutely. Because Lucas is getting a little bit old now, and I think we both agree with that. Also, I think he's older than that.
Is he older than that? Well,
yeah, I think he's 35.
Is he? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just yeah. I mean, he's been a good
servant to this team. Yeah, he has been. Yeah.
But it's kind of like, yeah, we know what you are. We know you can kind of hold up a game or two. That's probably about it. You know?
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is I think that when we played the half and half, Coleman and Lucas, it worked. It worked.
I don't know how it did, but it did.
And now it's like, oh, okay, what are we doing? Another question from Rod. He said in here, on holiday for a week, so I can't contribute on Thursday, but I'll be listening. He said he's been reading some absolute OTT nonsense at the minute about the team. I know sports fans can be fickle, but what part of a 3-year plan don't they get? To call the team frauds, oh my God, get realistic. I'm disappointed as they are, but this is my team forever, so you stick by the team. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I have seen a lot of over-the-top nonsense, especially from so-called podcasters and fan content creators who are calling us frauds, etc., etc. Get your head out your fucking arse, mate. Let's be honest, right? These are the same dickheads who were licking Jaden's arse, licking Dan Quinn, saying he's the best thing since sliced bread 4 weeks ago. Now we fell off a bit, and yeah, we have fell off a bit, and it was against Dallas. I get that completely, but come on, man. You either stick with a team or you don't. And this is the interesting thing for us, mate. We lost a lot of fans to the Ravens and a lot of fans to elsewhere when the name changed. And we lose fans when we haven't been very good. But as a Brit, and also probably as a European, you don't change teams, mate. That's just not what you do. I mean, you're not going to turn around if Liverpool didn't win the league and say, oh, bollocks to it, I'm going to go and follow Chelsea. You know, I'm never going to sit there and go, hey, you know what? I'm going to go and follow Preston because I'm a Carlisle fan. Absolutely not. Never, no way, no how. And that's the same with Washington. We stick by it. I've never seen winning scouts. So I'm sorry if I got on the hype train and went a bit mad and thought a Canada Mike doing 12 wins. But, you know, it's... Get a grip of yourselves, people. Honestly, yes, we lost to the Cowboys, but come on now. We're not frauds. We're just not that good of a team at the moment. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on it, mate?
I agree. Obviously, expectations rise when you go 7-2. You know, we were a team who have overperformed to a certain point, and now we've been found out. That's basically what it is. Teams have got tape on Jaden. They've got tape on how Kingsbury's doing his style at the moment, and he needs to change it up, by the way. But anyway. And now teams have found us out. And now we're struggling. But again, it's very weird because besides one match, I think we've scored quite a lot of points in like 20 plus in most games. That's normally good enough. But for some reason, we just tend to, you know, just concede too many, even though defense played well. So
doesn't help when this weird season that we're having in the NFL Scouts and kickers are kicking 55-yarders with ease, seemingly. So maybe that's why games. If you're
point, you know what I mean?
Exactly. If you're an over better, then that's where you need to go this year. But yeah, man, people have took the piss and gone too far over the top this week. I really believe that.
I mean, don't be wrong. We're all pissed off, and that's the problem with fans is that the coaches probably feel similar to how we feel.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, they don't go out there and start saying it over social media. They probably go in there, maybe roast a few of the players, and then it's over with them. Where we probably hold that for a couple of days, 2-3 days, and we moan about it on Twitter or in our group chat or whoever. And that's the difference, is that's why they're professionals in this game and we're just fans. But that we shouldn't always bash the team, and we should not. I say it's easy to say, but not easy to do. I say stay even keel. It's like when you win, yeah, great, you win. If you lose, okay, you didn't win, but it's you don't get too up and too down. But we do as fans because
of course we do.
Try not to get reeled in. You try not to get reeled in, don't you? But you just can't help it.
You just can't help it, mate.
At some point, it gets you and then you get let down, and that's when you feel the real hurt, and that is what's happened with this game with just gone. The other games you mentioned before, we kind of expected to lose, or we thought maybe we probably could lose this one, but we never thought we'd lose to Dallas the way this Dallas team is.
Exactly,
and that's what's hurt us. I think hurt the fans the most, and that's why there was so much grief on social media about it.
Yeah. Paul Fiander Turner, who is at Having a Radox on X, go and give him a follow. He said, did we overhype the importance of beating Dallas too much, forgetting our team was pretty banged up in the first place and some probably should have sat out?
Well, I think we kind of touched on that, didn't we, really?
Yeah, we did, really, yeah.
Dallas, should we have lost that game? No.
No way.
But the way we played, we deserved to lose. On performance-wise, we didn't deserve to win that game. And we could have won it. That's how close it was until Seabird messed up at the end. But
and the other thing, the hatred for Seabird as well. I've seen people, saying it, giving him all sorts of grief and his family grief as well. Leave that out. Just leave that out, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Look, man, all fans are hurting, man, and he'll be hurting as well. Don't forget his job. As you mentioned before, he probably came back too early to try and save his job, and he's probably actually made it a hell of a lot worse for himself. And he might end up being cut at the end of the season after IR finishes, because he's on season-ending IR, isn't he?
4 week, so that'll be that. Yeah, he'll be done.
Yeah. Unless Sane's awful, and then and after 5 weeks, I might bring him back into the playoffs if we get in there.
If we get there, maybe.
Yeah.
Paul's second question also said I've been saying for weeks now, Luvu is a nailed-on Pro Bowler. That's a question. Pro Bowl voting is open now. Clearly, it's a popularity contest, Scouse.
Yep.
Is there anybody on our team that should be a Pro Bowler this year?
Not
all Pro Bowler, though.
Yeah. To be fair,
I can think of three.
I'd say Luvu's one. He's definitely a fan favorite. He'll definitely get votes.
100%. Yeah.
I think Sanastril might actually get in there as a rookie, and I only mean that because he's playing very well, and as a corner, if your name's not in the media, you're doing a good job, yeah. So, and again, he's got a lot of fans that like him, and then I'm thinking Terry as well. I think,
that's where I'm going,
and I'm thinking Terry because of the shit that he's got to deal with. Because I say he doesn't get up the ball all the time, but he's making the most out of the balls he is getting, if that makes sense.
Needs 140 yards to make 1,000 again, which is, when you look at the connections between... and you look at where we are with wide receivers in the league, I think on touchdowns and yards, he's fourth, which is just crazy when you think about it. And here we are saying, oh, well, you need to get Terry Moore out to the other side, to the right-hand side, which you're absolutely spot on about, because he is our playmaker. That's it. So I think you're right. I think Terry, Sandra still, Jeremy Chin maybe, Quan Martin possibly.
Chin than Martin, but yeah.
And then that's about it really. I think defensively, if you're just looking at stats and people, the average fan is clicking on and going, right, let's have a look at Edge. Who are we looking at? You're looking at Fowler Jr., aren't you, for sacks wise? Because he's got to be up there. Yeah. Well, that's what people will do. A lot of people will probably look at stats. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Fowler Jr. gets a Pro Bowl nod.
But why vote if you're just going off someone's stats?
Because that's what people do.
You're watching the game.
But look at Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald got like a Pro Bowl every single year without fail. Now, I'm not saying that Aaron Donald was... he's a Hall of Famer, first ballot, without doubt. But the last couple of years, he didn't deserve to be in the Pro Bowl. He wasn't up there as the best DT in the league. Nah, not for
Pro Bowl's a vote, mate. It's like me and you can vote for that.
Like hundreds of times as well. Yeah.
That's why Pro Bowl, even for the football, the players themselves, it's like nice.
It's a bit of a nonsense.
And they get a bonus on a contract, nice, but it's not. It doesn't really. They don't really give a shit because it's the All Pro what they want because that's the other professionals, the other players vote for you. That's the difference.
Couple of final questions. Deluxe says, now that a couple of days have passed, has your reaction to the division loss changed?
Well, the reaction is obviously a bit more tempered.
Subdued.
Subdued. Of course, we're still angry about it, but I'd say it's time to move on. You can't do nothing you can do about it. You just got to hopefully learn from the mistakes and then take the Titans apart. But yeah, I mean, has it changed a little bit? I'd say
a little bit for me too. Yeah, I think doing this pod on a Thursday, as you said, you've calmed down a fair bit since the Sunday. So yeah, it's changed a little bit for me. Final question from Deluxe then that he's sent in to us. He said, "Who returns kicks on Sunday?" Now the kick returner is normally Austin Eckler. Noah I is down on the depth chart as second, so I think it will be Noah I.
Doesn't McNichol do it as well?
It's just down as on that. That's roster depth chart type thing. It's saying Noah I is the listed second, so I can only assume that will be who will run kicks back. But yeah,
we should go Troy Apke. Yeah, Troy.
Troy Apke, Troy Apke back. Yeah. Why don't we get what was he called? The wide receiver, who was doing punts. Oh my god, it's gonna.
I can't remember his name. I know you.
You know I'm on about. It wasn't his.
That guy.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Was it? Was it Bates? John Bates?
No, we've got John Bates. He's still there. He's had
John Bates is the tight end. Oh, I can't remember his name.
He was like sixth round. Wasn't he?
Yeah, he was wild.
I'm sure.
But anyway, you're right. It was his best mates with Wilson, wasn't he? And he took Wilson's girlfriend away. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, it is what it is.
At least he catch that. You couldn't.
yeah, that's true. Final question then is from Cameron McDonald.
Cheers, mate. Dax Milne. That's it.
Dax Milne. Thank you very much. Yeah, Dax Milne. There you go. Final question is from Cameron McDonald, who is at FK Commander fan. Also hosted the Friday Night Football Pitch, which is a Scottish football podcast. Well worth a listen again if you are in Scotland or you're into your Scottish football. They do talk about the European leagues and the international leagues and all that sort of stuff as well, so worth giving them a follow and a listen. He says, a wee break from Commander's questions. What's your favourite sport-based movie or favourite movie with a sports scene? He said, The Fighter for me is a great movie and can't beat The Last Boy Scout for a bit of escapism. So, Scouse, do you want to take that one away? What's your favourite sporting movie?
Oh, there's quite a few.
There's loads, isn't there? There's loads, yeah.
It depends where you want to go. I mean, if you want to go like an NFL way, I'd probably say Any Given Sunday is one of my favourites.
Yeah, great film. Yeah. Well, you got it on your wall. So, yeah.
I've got a nice little... Steaming Willie Beeman style.
Beaming.
Yeah, I've got that on my wall. So,
Raging Bull's a great shout, Brian. I like Raging Bull. That's a great shout.
Great film. Field of Dreams is a great one for baseball.
Yeah, 100%.
No, there's so many out there, man.
You can't beat, for me. I grew up with Rocky movies because my mum loved them. So it's constantly on my telly, but you can't beat Rocky 4, can you? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
With the big Russian.
He dies.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, yeah, I like a good Rocky film. Other films wise, NFL wise, Draft Day's quite funny with Kevin Costner. Always put that on before the actual draft. I like watching that for some reason because I'm sad like that. But yeah, man. What else?
The Blind Side's a good film. I know it's more of a
Blind Sides is a good film. Yeah, I like that too. There's loads out there.
Bull Durham.
Yeah, Bull Durham's good. Ali with Will Smith in it. That's pretty good actually. Believe it or not. Yeah, I quite liked it. But there you go. I mean, the Rocky franchise. It got a bit weird when it started getting into Creed. Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Kind of too much.
Nah. It
started to go downhill when
too far.
Tommy, what's his name?
Tommy Morrison. Yeah, the actual boxer. Yeah. Anyway, it's one of them.
That went downhill, man.
It did. But yeah, Scouts, thank you for joining me on Thanksgiving, mate, for our American brothers out there. Thanks, Brian, Jesse, Deluxe. Get with your families, mate. Don't be on here listening to us. It's a day for celebration. I'm thankful for everybody who's in the chat. Thank you all for being with us. Our 100th episode next week, Scouts, which will be quite different. We've got a few shout outs and stuff that we'll play on videos on here, which will be quite good. Some former guests and a few other surprises that are going out there. Also, we'll put it out here now for those who are listening. But and also we'll put it out for next week as well. If you want a ticket, free of charge, completely free of charge, to the Philadelphia home game, you can ask Yam, you can ask Freddie on Twitter as well, Hot Take Freddie or Yam Starch. You can get them to give you vouching for it. Me and Andy Burrows have a season ticket. If you would like that ticket, all you have to do is subscribe to the show, 1 Point Safety Show, subscribe to the Bunker, and send us a screenshot on X to say, yep, I've subscribed to both. It's Scotty H84 or at ScouseAndy20, and Burrows is Washington Commanders Fan UK, I think. Send it to all of us or one of us, it doesn't matter which way. We'll put you in a draw on the show, and then we will raffle that off so you can win a ticket for free to go and sit up in the gods and watch the Philly game if you want to do that.
Isn't that high? It's not like
not really, and do you know what? It's right at the front as well of the bowl, but it's actually a really good seat. I mean, I was looking at it thinking, you know what? It's pretty decent. The view is pretty good. I'll be honest with you. I've sat in stadiums higher than that, so it's not bothered me. So if you want a ticket, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, give the Bunker a subscribe. You can find them on YouTube. It's at Command the Bunker. And while you're there, go and give the Bleeding Burgundy a subscribe as well. You know what I mean? And Deuce, give them a subscribe because Scouts is on there too. Subscribe to all our shows. Go and give us all a follow.
It's hard enough to do one. Never mind 4.
I know. Just give us 2. The Bunker and 1 Point Safety Show. Send us across a screenshot with them on by direct message, or you can tag us in on X and just say, yeah, I've done it, and you can get yourself a ticket to the Philly game for free, and we will get that across to you. Scouse, thank you for being with me, mate. 100th episode next week. I cannot wait.
Yeah,
it's going to be really good. Unless
you better bloody win. You better win that. We can't have a losing.
Yeah, I know. It can't be having a losing chat on our 100th, can we? That would be that would be just typical.
I'm not having it, boys. If any of the players are listening, come on, boys. You've got to win this one for us. Right?
Yeah, you know it. Yeah. All right, that just about does us. Anything left from you, mate? Or you happy?
All good, man. I'm good, man.
All good. All right. Well, until next week. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.